Hi, Keri. Welcome to Soul Sessions.
Hi, Amanda.
I'm
I'm
so,
so happy.
we're both like, I'm so happy to
I
have
just
you
want
here
to reach and hug you.
and give you a hug. It is
Yeah.
so delightful to see your beautiful face. Will you introduce yourself to everyone and tell everybody what you're curious about, what you want to dive into a little bit today?
Well, I'm Keri and I'm living in California, in Chico, California. And I listen to you all the time and I just learned so much from you and love you so much. As you know, I have had a lot of loss, right? Not seen my kids a whole lot and everything shifted. And I'm just trusting the magic of the universe. But my career, I want to step into something else, right? So I want to know the most productive actions to take, the most effective for my highest timeline, for the highest good. As you know, I have a lot of spiritual guides and guidance. So I just want some clarity.
Absolutely. And thank
Yeah.
you so much for that. And just for everybody listening out there, Keri has an uncanny ability to really see signs and synchronicities. And I talk about this with everyone for important for me, important for all of us. The moment we go into skepticism, cynicism, doubt, like, that didn't mean anything. No, I just made that up in my head. Keri has an uncanny ability not to do that and to go with every single sign and synchronicity. And it does not mean her head is just so far up in the clouds that she is ungrounded. It's more like she thinks something and it shows up. You have a very quick knack for that. And what they're showing me as far as life and your career and the direction you're taking is they're saying it is important that you start to fine tune your clarity around when you are your most joyful, when you're your most comfortable in your own voice and with your gifts that have been coming through as far as your intuition. You're able to really connect with animals. You have like a beautiful connection to animals, animal totem, animal energy, but it's almost like when you think about an animal, you see it, and
Yeah.
whether it manifests in real life in front of you or it shows up on your screen somewhere electronically, like it's almost like you manifest in real time with animal energy. And they are saying that you have this ability to tap into wisdom, to connect people with their spirit guides, their animal spirit guides, the animal instincts within themselves, and really getting proficient in animal medicine. Do you have that book? It's the old it's a an oracle deck, and it's the Native American oracle deck. I have one, and I'll send you the name of it and we'll link it
Okay.
in these show notes.
Okay.
It's a Native American spirit animal totem book, and it has really beautiful descriptions of all sorts of spirit animals, but from a Native American perspective and an indigenous perspective. And it's super comprehensive, and it resonates in a very like an ancient sort of way. And it's almost like they want you to go through animals A to Z and just start going through animals and maybe looking up a couple of things and then intuiting what each animal means. They actually want you to do it the opposite way. They're saying,
Okay.
start with aardvark, and I just pulled aardvark out of my head, like the aardvark, they have a long nose, or an ant eater. And
Hmm.
it's like, what would you say about an aardvark or an anteater? What is it that they do? What is their gift? What is their animal medicine? And like write a few things down and then either search it, through a
Okay.
search engine, or if you happen to have a deck that has an aardvark, which I can't imagine that you or
I
any of us,
do.
it has an
I
aardvark.
think I'm pretty sure my spirit
Okay.
animal. But
Okay.
today I'm in Mexico
Yeah.
and I don't know if you remember, you pulled the sandpiper when we were doing our class. And I saw a sandpiper today and it's just joyful and enjoy the magic. And I'm really trying to tap into that. But
Yeah.
also make a living, Amanda.
Yes, make a living, because hey, and there's so many people out there. In fact, I spoke with a woman this morning, and she just did her Reiki 1 and 2. And I said, "Are you going to teach?" And she says, "Yes, I'm doing my first retreat in June." And
Yeah.
I said, you go, girl, like you jump in, you do, you teach. And so what they are saying to me is you just start. And for goodness sakes, Keri is an Aries, everyone, and she's got a lot of Aries energy. And we have this flush of energy that is all around the pioneer, the primal instincts that Aries carries, these primal instincts. And they're saying it is imperative that you follow your primal instincts to begin to hold space and teach. And they're saying and charge for it. And think about it this way, because it's really hard from the perspective of a healer, a teacher. In order to charge, you're charging for your time. And it is imperative because that's an important lesson around being a healer. If you had decided to go be a monk in this lifetime, it would be a different story. You've done that in other lifetimes. This is a lifetime where you are learning to be resourceful, to take care of yourself so you can also give back and be generous. But you do have to clothe yourself and pay for your rent and, put the food on the table, and you're not meant to be destitute. You are not meant to be destitute, and you will build relationships that support you. And sometimes financially, where people say, oh no, I want to pay you to do this. And when someone says, I want to pay you to do this, you say, wow, thank you. I really respect and appreciate that. And you don't say, oh, no, 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 don't worry about it. And I mean, yes, you get to give your gifts away, and there's a joy in that. And I get to do that all the time. But when someone offers to pay you, you accept it and you just start. So they're saying they really want you to go through animals A to Z and make your own
Okay.
list. And they want you to tap into each animal, just whichever ones come to mind to start. Just but go A through Z. And I don't know an animal that starts with a Z. And they're making me laugh because they're saying
Zebra.
oh, Z, zebra. I meant X. I meant X. I don't know what I was thinking about X and I said Z, like my brain. But there's yes, Z, zebra. But they want you to do it and they want you to write out the qualities and then go do a search or pull out one of your decks and see what resonates. But they also don't want you to perfectly follow what's written or the deck. They want you to intuit new things about animals, and they're not new things. You're just listening to the animal kingdom and tapping into that animal's energy and what it is showing you. And they want you to start working with people and helping them connect with their primal energy, which is very much from the animal kingdom. So whether it is a tiger or an ant or a cricket or a butterfly, like, what parts, when you see someone's soul or someone's energy or what they're walking through, what parts of their psychology are connected to certain animals. Is this resonating? I mean, they're really
It
talking about
is
animals.
because I've just been talking to the animals, and
Uh-huh.
like it's almost telepathic. Like I can hear what they're thinking.
Yes. And they're
But
saying
that's just working with the animals.
that's working with the animals. So they're saying keep doing that with animals because that's your like you just when they say something, you know it and you don't question it, you go with it and you trust the telepathy of it. They want you to start practicing it with people.
Okay.
Meaning when you get a person in front of you, it's like, what animal energy am I getting here? And that will lead you down to
Okay.
what you need to share with that person. And they just asked me to ask you to practice on me right now. Okay, so like
Okay.
first come like right now, what and you I don't care if you say an aardvark or whatever, like what animal like do you
A
connect with
lion.
me or lion?
A
Oh,
lioness.
well, like I'm like, let
Yeah.
me fix my
I
hair
know.
and get my mane together. Okay. Well, that like thank you. Okay, and what about the lion? They're
You're
just
just
asking you to read for me.
you're courageous. Um, and you at this point in your life, you know you 100%.
Oh my gosh, I'm about to cry because I was driving in the car yesterday and I was listening to something and it was talking about Aries energy. Okay, Keri is an Aries, I'm a Libra, right? We're like polarities of each other. And I was thinking about Aries, and somebody was saying, Aries, they know themselves. They know who they are. They know who they are. They just know. And they don't question it and they know and they go with things. And I was like, gosh, I wish I just knew who I was. And then I was laughing because I was like, but I know who I am. I had this conversation with myself yesterday in the car. Like, so you just hit
I
the
have
nail
the
on the head.
I just have the full body chills, but
Okay.
you, yeah, I'm so connected with you though. I
Well,
just,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I love it. I hope that everybody out there recognizes that we have this ability when we connect with people and we allow people to see ourselves, to see each other, that we can share what we see. So if you don't have to just go practice out in the world, because there's this thing called energetic boundaries and ethics around mediumship, and it is important to keep a boundary. And I know a lot of people, when their gifts are really turning on and activated, they don't know those boundaries, because you at first there are no boundaries. You can't help it, it's flooding in, but at some point it is imperative for the boundaries, because it will kill your adrenal and endocrine system and you will physically get sick, and that is an indication of it. And we need the regulation of those systems in our body for our health, our immunity, especially with what is going on in the world and the atmosphere. We have to take care of our physical body, but the mediumship, the high frequency, like we have to ground it in. But what they are showing me and showing everybody out there is, find your people, find a person or two that you can practice with. And this is not about everybody out there becoming a medium, an intuitive, a Reiki master, a healer, but it's about practicing trusting our own intuition. And sometimes in order to do that, we need to speak it and someone validate it. And it's not because you may be a banker or you may be a CEO of a startup, and you may think that's not about your intuition, but it is about being able to intuit things, to be proficient, and to lead from your soul's voice and register. So, what you just said to me, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And that was my spirit totem for last year. And I feel like I worked on it, but I was like, I don't know if I'm the lion. And so for you to say that, and then what you just said is, I know who I am. And I just had that conversation with myself yesterday when I went into self doubt. But I'm like, but I do know who I am. So for you to say that, I needed to hear that. So you were spot on.
Well, I appreciate you. I
Yeah.
appreciate your authentic self because I look at you and I'm like, she's got it all, right? But you're so authentic and honest, and you have fear just like I have fear, and it just helps me push through my fear.
Yeah. And as far as the money goes, because it's a weird thing. Like I need to have a home and be able to pay my bills and do and live life and also enjoy life. But at the same time, my work is my avocation, and your work is becoming your avocation. And it's firing and wiring. But the separation you've had the last couple of years or so has forced you to stand on your own 2 feet and remember who you are, and then you get to create community. So this separation they're showing me, that I know that you've had, like in multiple layers, they're saying the separation was necessary for you to go through the pain and the loss and the grief and suffering, to shed layers of yourself so you could get back to your voice and know that your voice is resounding. And that sandpiper energy, the playfulness, the joy of it. The animals, of course, are playful and joyful, and they want you to start being playful and joyful with people, but with your wisdom. But they're saying it's time for you to start charging. It's time for you to like start your website, or
Okay.
they want you to, like they said, work behind the scenes, figure out your name, get your LLC, whatever, the business side of
Okay.
things. They're saying get down to business, girl, meaning,
Okay.
figure out your website, your LLC, and literally figure out, okay, if I'm going to give somebody a session, I'm going to do a 45-minute session, and I'm going to charge this much right now. And it's going to be,
Okay.
I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to put it out there. And when I see people out in the world, or like you being in Mexico right now on a retreat, tell people, yeah, in the next couple of months, I'm going to start doing readings, stay connected with me. Let's exchange emails. So you start telling people now so you're accountable to it within the next 2 months, because they're saying
Okay.
within the next 2 months, like you will have sessions available and you will be hanging your shingle essentially. And it is so much of you being able to share information and wisdom is by utilizing animal energy to help
Okay.
people connect with their own primal energy of
Okay.
like the energies within. And it may be 2 or 3 animals, and you can use a deck, like just play with it because it'll evolve. Like you won't need a deck
Okay.
in a year, but at first, if you
Okay.
need a deck, you need a deck, I
Okay.
mean, like it's just, don't worry about the logistics or specifics or how you do it. They're saying just start
Okay. Yeah.
now, like now.
Yeah. Like, so I had July, like by July,
Well, they said in the next
and
couple of months. So there you go.
yeah, and and I love it all. This is the thing. I love it all. So
Yeah.
I've been in my learning phase. Like I'm just absorbing and I just am loving it. So I'm like, what's my niche, you know?
Yeah. And it's funny
Yeah.
because I had a woman say to me, gosh, a decade ago, and she taught me a lot of things. And she is really proficient at reading Akashic records. And she said to me, Amanda, she's like, you're a freestyler. She said it's kind of, and she didn't describe me as a break dancer, but when she said you're a freestyler, I thought about break dancing. And like, do you remember break dancing in the
Yeah.
1980s? Okay, so I thought
Yes.
about break dancing, and she's like, you're a freestyler. And what it means is there is not one modality that she says you take all these modalities and you meld them into your own language. The way you work and what you're doing, nobody else does it that way. And it's not, you're not going to have a mentor, a guide. There's going to be multiple guides, and you're pulling from different lineages and traditions, and you're making it your own while still being reverent and respectful to those traditions, but you're freestyling. And that's what they
Okay.
keep saying to me is think of
Okay.
yourself at your freestyling right now, because it will hone in your voice and your path. But right, it's like, but start now.
It's time
It's
now.
time.
Oh,
Now.
that's the synchronicity.
Now.
Like now it's been like in my face. Now,
Yeah.
Keri.
Now.
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 Yeah.
And they keep saying, like, while you're on this retreat, they're saying look for the iguanas, like look for the lizards.
Okay.
So lizards at like they
I
just keep
just
saying look for
saw a lizard and
okay.
I was like, oh, I'm regenerating. Like that's
Yes.
what I see. Like,
Yes, they have this, thick, tough outer shell, this reptilian shell, but inside they're like, their eyes are very like lizard iguana eyes, like they're just their eyes are kind of what fascinates me a lot of times. And if eyes are the window to the soul, you've been developing a thicker skin, meaning, it's like people can say, oh, that doesn't resonate with me. And if it doesn't resonate with them, like, don't just be like, okay, maybe they'll get it later. Maybe they'll never get it. Maybe I was totally wrong and totally
right.
off. Like, you just let it roll off your back. But they're saying connect with the lizards and the iguanas while you're there, because they are very influential in dreams and regeneration, and also like strength, like wearing your armor. And when I say wearing your armor, it's like in the Bible, the breastplate of God, the
Hmm.
courage, the love, like you've been developing your armor. And I don't mean you are shielding yourself and protecting yourself from people. It's the armor of love and compassion and wisdom. And that's what you're quote unquote fighting with. And you're not fighting, but that's what you're gifting. Is your armor is love and kindness and wisdom and empathy. And you have had to develop empathy by feeling things so deeply that now you understand people's pain in a way you wouldn't have understood it 10 years ago.
Yeah. I feel like in the last year, like I'm a whole different person. Like I'm
Yeah.
actually me. Like, and I love me. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to share
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever has helped me. I want to share it with people
Yes.
and I'm
And it's,
excited.
yes. And do it.
Yeah.
Do it now. Like, thank you
Okay.
for what you shared with me.
Okay.
Like, I absolutely needed to hear that today. And it resonated with what I was having a conversation with myself and my soul and God yesterday. It was the whole dialogue that was going on, and you just articulated it and you did it through the line. All of it resonated. So,
Okay, good.
yeah.
Yay.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
Oh my
Well,
God, I love you.
I love you
Thank
too.
you.
Have an
Thank you. Thank you.
amazing trip, and thank you for coming on and sharing all
Thank
this
you.
wisdom. Okay, take care.